Welcome to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. Well, Speaker Nancy Pelosi was at it once again. She was in rare form on Monday, blasting Republicans with several F-bombs, swearing like a drunken sailor, and I don't know if she yachts, but at least part of that is completely accurate. Now, Nancy Pelosi, she's a dinosaur who's just lingering around in the U.S. Congress forever. And I really wonder if it's time for her to retire, because I think between the alcohol syndrome that she's experiencing and just old age, she really talks a lot of gibberish and a lot of trash. She seems about as crotchety as Joe Biden did before he was booted by the Democratic Party last campaign season. And Nancy Pelosi, she drops a lot of F-bombs, and I'm going to bring you the censored video of this because really it's quite a spectacle to behold. So before we get into this story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism.
The president has said, I hear what they're saying. It's all unserious and ridiculous. In fact, I've listened to their shit, and I tell them to go f themselves. So that's the... I can't believe I use that word. My kids will be shocked. My grandchildren will be further shocked. I'm just quoting the President of the United States. And so I think the leverage springs not from any shared values with him, if that's what he thinks healthcare is about. And yourself.
Nancy Pelosi. Well, her grandkids probably are shocked at more than your coarse language, because White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt exposed you as being absolutely corrupt. There's really nothing to explain the hundreds of millions of dollars that she has amassed on a $175,000 salary, roughly, as a Congress member. And, well, let's let Karoline Leavitt have the floor, because she does a good job devastating criticism of Pelosi right here.
To put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. So I think the president stands with the American people on this. He doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves off of public service and ripping off their constituents in the process.
So, Nancy Pelosi, nobody is buying your crocodile tears over health care for illegal aliens. We all know this is a ploy to justify your election racketeering scheme to try to get tens of millions of illegal aliens into this country on the taxpayer dime, doing all this Cloward Piven nonsense, trying to collapse the economy. We are $37.5 trillion in debt. Wrap your head around this. Go look at your sons and daughters, grandsons, granddaughters in the eye and explain why we cannot have a balanced budget and why we can have just terrible inflation, their dollar deteriorating because we cannot get our spending under control. So no, Nancy Pelosi, you cannot have another $1.5 trillion for DEI programs in Somalia. You cannot have it for Sesame Street in Iraq. You cannot have it for free health care for illegal aliens, aka foreigners who should not be here and should be in their home country because they didn't follow the legal process for immigrating into this country. Something that Democrats were on board with a long time ago. Let's take a quick look down memory lane at Hillary Clinton, back when she didn't look like the personification of evil and when she appeared to have some common sense. So Hillary Clinton said it best. You cannot have all of this free health care for illegal aliens. There have been several other prominent Democrats in the past who were also in line with this. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, all of them spoke out against illegal immigration in the past. And they even carried out deportations at pretty good numbers. Of course, Biden had the open borders there towards the last 3 years of his presidency, opened up the floodgates and, tried to make it look like he was deporting aliens there for a while. But in principle, the Democrats, they passed these laws. Trump is enforcing them. And because they're going to bankrupt us And it seems like that's what the Democratic Party wants until proven otherwise. So weigh in with your comments below. What do you think about the Pelosi smackdown that Leavitt gave her? I thought it was priceless. It really does raise some major questions. We need to investigate these lawmakers. We need to shut down the insider trading. We need to have campaign finance reform. I think that's a bipartisan thing we should be able to accomplish, but it may take a constitutional convention to really get through some of these major reforms, in my opinion. Term limits, balanced budget, these things need to be enshrined in our Constitution. Make them constitutional amendments as soon as possible, in my opinion, because really, Democrats want to bankrupt us. They really want open borders, and they're a threat to our democracy, to use their verbiage. So weigh in with your thoughts. What do you think? And we appreciate you watching Explain America.